The riverboat pilot, Captain Henry Jenkins, was a man known far and wide along the winding Mississippi. With salt and pepper hair and a weathered face from years under the sun, he commanded respect not only for his skill but also for his unwavering sense of duty. Raised in a small town near the river, Henry learned its every current and twist from an early age. He had grown fond of the boat life, navigating through storms and calm with equal grace. Every evening, as passengers boarded, he would stand at the helm, ensuring everyone felt safe and welcomed. The river held secrets, and he always knew how to dance between danger and delight. The sounds of laughter and music filled the air as he made sure the boat was ready for another lively night. Henry believed that every person on board was his responsibility. His heart beat in rhythm with the river, and he was determined to protect it at all costs. Little did he know that this night would test his courage like never before. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the riverboat came alive with energy and excitement. Musicians tuned their instruments on the deck, the sweet sound of fiddles and banjos blending with laughter and chatter from eager passengers. The aroma of hearty food wafted through the air, as crew members hustled back and forth, setting tables and preparing for a grand evening ahead. Bright lights flickered to life, illuminating the ornate details of the boat. Colorful decorations adorned every corner, creating a festive atmosphere that promised a night of joy and entertainment. The bandleader called out to his musicians, urging them to play a lively tune to welcome guests aboard. Families arrived, dressed in their finest clothes, ready to celebrate under the starry sky. Children ran about, giggling as they chased each other on the deck. Captain Henry surveyed it all from his post at the helm, feeling a sense of pride swell within him. Little did they know that beneath this cheerful exterior lurked tensions that would soon erupt into chaos. Among the musicians was Clara, the talented pianist who was the heart of the riverboat's entertainment. With flowing chestnut hair and a radiant smile, she dazzled everyone who entered the grand hall. As she sat at the elegantly polished piano, her fingers danced over the keys, creating enchanting melodies that filled the air with magic. The audience listened in awe as Clara poured her soul into her music. With every note, she transported them to faraway lands, evoking emotions that made hearts flutter. The soft glow of candlelight reflected in her expressive eyes as she immersed herself in each song, captivating every listener in the room. Applause erupted after each performance, with patrons showering her with compliments and admiration. "What a gift you have!" one gentleman exclaimed, while others applauded enthusiastically. Clara's talent was undeniable, making her the star of the night. Yet, even in this moment of joy, there lingered an unspoken tension that hinted at a storm threatening to break loose in this otherwise delightful evening. Just as the band struck up a lively tune, a sudden, deafening roar echoed through the boat. Panic swept over the crowd as dark smoke billowed upward from the boiler room. Flames flickered ominously, hungry for anything they could consume, and the joyful sounds of music were quickly replaced by cries of alarm. Crew members rushed into action, shouting orders and trying to direct passengers toward safety. The once happy atmosphere turned chaotic as frantic whispers and terrified gasps filled the air. Many guests stumbled over one another, unsure of where to go or what to do. Captain Henry immediately felt the weight of responsibility fall on him. He barked commands to the crew as he made his way through the thickening smoke toward the boiler room. He could see the fires glow in the distance, and panic gripped him at the thought of anyone being trapped inside. Clara, still at her piano, noticed the chaos unfolding and felt her heart race as a sense of dread washed over her. The night had taken a terrifying turn, and courage would soon be required from everyone on board. Without hesitation, Captain Henry made his way through the swirling smoke, each step fueled by his determination to reach Clara. The heat intensified as he drew closer to the boiler room, the flames dancing like angry spirits. Breathing through a makeshift cloth, he pushed aside the fear that threatened to grip him. He could not abandon Clara. She was trapped and needed him. As he reached the entrance, he paused for just a moment to assess the chaos inside. The flames crackled and roared, casting flickering shadows around the room. Henry's heart raced as he shouted her name, hoping she could hear him over the din. "Clara, I'm coming." Summoning every ounce of courage, he entered the blazing inferno. The heat enveloped him like an unwelcome embrace, but he pressed on, scanning for any sign of her amidst the smoke. Suddenly, through the haze, he spotted her, pinned beneath a fallen beam, weakened but alive. With grit and resolve, Henry rushed forward, ready to risk everything to save her from the flames that threatened to consume them both. As Captain Henry forged ahead through the thick smoke, each breath felt like fire in his lungs. The heat was stifling, wrapping around him like a fiery blanket as he pushed forward with determination. Darkness closed in, making it hard to see, but he focused only on Clara's last known location. Every step was a battle against the fierce flames that danced and crackled all around him. He could hear the wood creaking ominously above and the relentless roar of the fire threatening to consume everything. His heart pounded in his chest, driven by fear for Clara's safety and his unwavering resolve. "Clara!" he shouted again, his voice echoing against the walls filled with smoke. He fought through despair, recalling her bright, smiling face as she played. It fueled his strength. Finally, he spotted her, trapped but still fighting to stay awake. With renewed courage, he stumbled towards her through the oppressive heat and confusion, determined not to let the flames claim her life or his own. This was his moment to be a hero. Finally reaching Clara, Captain Henry found her pinned beneath the heavy beam, her face pale and eyes filled with fear. "Clara, I've got you," he shouted, determination flooding his voice. With a surge of adrenaline, he lifted the beam as best as he could, feeling the heat threaten to scorch him. Clara managed a weak smile, her trust in him evident even through the terror surrounding them. With a final grunt, Henry freed her from her entrapment and wrapped an arm around her waist for support. As they turned to make their escape, the flames roared around them, but Henry's grip on Clara was firm. Together, they pushed through the smoke, each step a testament to their bond forged in this moment of crisis. When they finally emerged from the inferno into the cool night air, Clara gasped for breath but quickly looked up at Henry with gratitude shining in her eyes. Their shared ordeal had created an unbreakable connection, two souls united against the raging flames. In that moment, amidst the chaos of the riverboat, they knew they would always have each other's backs. As the chaos began to settle and the last wisps of smoke cleared from the riverboat, a new tension filled the air. The crew and passengers felt a chill run down their spines as a group of menacing figures appeared at the entrance. Dressed in dark suits with stern expressions, the owner's enforcers strode onto the deck, their presence instantly commanding attention. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Everyone recognized them as the owner's muscle, men known for their ruthless ways. Their eyes scanned the scene, taking note of Captain Henry and Clara, who were still catching their breath after the harrowing escape. The enforcer's leader, a tall man with a scar running down his cheek, approached Henry with an unsettling smirk. "What happened here?" he demanded, his voice low and threatening. The atmosphere shifted from relief to dread as those nearby understood that these enforcers weren't just there to investigate. They had their own agenda. The night was far from over, and new dangers loomed on the horizon for both Henry and Clara. The scarred enforcer stepped closer to Captain Henry, his menacing presence towering over him. "You two have caused quite the disturbance tonight," he sneered, glancing at Clara with a predatory gaze. "But it could have been avoided if the lovely pianist knew her place." With a chilling calmness, he laid out the enforcer's demand. Clara would be forced to marry the owner of the riverboat. Gasps rippled through the crowd, disbelief etched on many faces, while Clara's heart raced with fear and anger. "You can't do this," she protested, her voice trembling. Henry's fists clenched at his sides, feeling a mix of rage and helplessness. The enforcer's expression darkened as he pulled out a revolver, aiming it subtly at Henry. "If you care for her, you'll ensure she complies," he growled. The threat hung heavily in the air, heightening the tension as everyone realized the gravity of their predicament. Clara looked into Henry's eyes, searching for reassurance amidst the chaos. knowing that they would need to find a way out of this dark situation together. Captain Henry's outrage surged within him like a wildfire, igniting a fierce determination to protect Clara at all costs. He stepped forward, his voice steady but filled with righteous anger. "You will not force her into this marriage. She deserves better than to be treated like property." The enforcer sneered, tightening his grip on the revolver. "And what do you plan to do about it, Pilot? You think your bravery means anything here?" Henry's eyes burned with defiance as he felt the weight of the moment press down on him. Clara stood beside him, her expression a mix of fear and admiration, and that strengthened his resolve even further. He knew he couldn't let them take her away or make a mockery of her freedom. "We'll find a way out of this," he whispered to her, determination lacing his words. The air crackled with tension as Henry prepared to confront the enforcers, ready to fight for Clara's dignity and their chance at freedom in the face of overwhelming odds. He wouldn't back down. She meant too much to him. Captain Henry stood his ground, heart racing as he faced the enforcers, every eye on the tense confrontation. The scarred enforcer stepped closer, brandishing his gun and sneering at him. "You think you can stop this? You're just a riverboat pilot," he taunted, his voice thick with menace. Henry's spine straightened as he replied firmly, "She's not a pawn in this game of yours. Clara deserves respect and freedom." The crowd held its breath, sensing the danger. The standoff intensified, the air thick with tension as Clara watched anxiously, her mind racing for a solution. Henry could feel the weight of her trust and admiration. It fueled his courage. He took a small step forward, refusing to back down. "You might have the power here, but you can't take her will." The enforcer's grip tightened on his weapon, and Henry's heart pounded louder. "If you want to fight, you'll have one," he asserted defiantly. Just then, an unexpected sound pierced the air, a shout from the crew behind him, providing a moment of distraction that could shift everything. Henry seized the opportunity, ready to protect Clara at all costs. As the confrontation escalated, Clara's heart raced with a mix of fear and desperation. She stepped forward, her voice quivering but steady. "Please, don't do this," she pleaded, looking directly at the scarred enforcer. "I am not a prize to be won or a bargaining chip in your game." Her eyes glistened with unshed tears as she continued, "I want my own choice. I deserve freedom to decide my own future." The crowd fell silent, feeling the weight of her words. They could see how truly trapped she felt, and her emotional plea struck a chord in everyone's hearts. The enforcers exchanged glances, momentarily taken aback by her courage. Henry felt pride swell within him. Her spirit was unbreakable even in such dire circumstances. "Clara is right," he spoke up fiercely, looking at the enforcers with defiance. "No one should be forced into anything against their will." The tension crackled in the air as Clara stood resolute beside him, both of them united in their demand for freedom amid the looming threat. As the tension in the air thickened, the crew and musicians rallied behind Captain Henry and Clara, ready to support their defiance against the enforcers. The bandleader signaled to the musicians, who quickly transitioned into a powerful, uplifting tune, filling the space with music that inspired courage. The lively rhythm stirred the crowd, unifying them in spirit as they began to chant for freedom. Seizing the moment, Henry shouted, "Now!" signaling the crew to act. They moved as one, forming a protective barrier around Clara, while others distracted the enforcers with makeshift props and instruments. The scarred enforcer's attention faltered amidst the chaos, allowing Henry to take a bold step forward. With a swift motion, he grabbed Clara's hand and pulled her close. "Let's go," he urged as they dashed toward the side of the boat. Together with their newfound allies, they pushed through the throng of onlookers and made their escape onto the deck. The enforcers were left bewildered, unable to stop the teamwork that had foiled their plans. In that moment of bravery and unity, hope surged anew for Clara's future. In the aftermath of the tumultuous night, the riverboat drifted peacefully along the Mississippi, a stark contrast to the chaos that had unfolded. Captain Henry and Clara stood together on the deck, gazing at the stars above, reflecting on their shared journey. They had faced flames, threats, and injustice, yet emerged stronger and more united than ever. This experience had not only tested their courage, but had also highlighted the power of love and solidarity among those willing to stand up against oppression. The crew and musicians, who had rallied around them, proved that collective bravery could turn the tide in dire situations. As they looked out at the tranquil waters, Clara felt a sense of freedom she had never known before. "We did it," she whispered to Henry, her voice filled with gratitude. He smiled back, knowing that their bond would forever be a beacon of hope for others who might find themselves in similar circumstances. Together, they understood that bravery is not just about facing danger, but also about fighting for what is right and ensuring that love prevails over fear. As the story of Captain Henry and Clara spread throughout the riverboat community, it became etched in the annals of history as a tale of heroism and sacrifice. Their bravery in the face of flames and threats reminded all who heard it that true courage often arises during the darkest moments. This incident not only highlighted the importance of standing up against injustice, but also showcased the power of community and solidarity. The riverboat, once just a vessel for entertainment, transformed into a symbol of hope and resilience. Passengers and crew alike would recount how music united them against tyranny, illustrating that art can inspire action when faced with oppression. Clara's emotional plea for freedom resonated deeply, reminding others to fight for their rights and dignity. In years to come, this story would be told around campfires and gatherings, inspiring generations to come. The legacy of that fateful night would serve as a reminder that love, courage, and teamwork could conquer even the greatest obstacles, ensuring that such acts of heroism would never be forgotten on the storied Mississippi River.